Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Lunar Podcast. In this episode, we're going to cover and actually, maybe start a new series on the book of Revelations. Here is a book that is one of the most mysterious books in the New Testament. The four Gospels are, quite mysterious, but the book of Revelations takes it to a whole nother level. And just recently, I started a very critical and in-depth study on the book, in particularly by way of the ideas presented by the scholar Margaret Barker, who is a real heavyweight intellectual and scholar, and I think she was a former Methodist preacher. So I think now she's retired, and a former teacher at Oxford. So, from that work, I'm getting some really good insights as to the mysteries of this very mysterious book. So let me just show it to you for familiarization. So here is the book, The Revelations of Jesus Christ, right, by Margaret Barker. This is a very, very well researched work. I mean, it's one of the best that I have come across so far. And one of the reasons of making these kinds of videos is to share with my audience, wherever they may be, the ideas that I think are interesting, but also of relevance. And that's one of the key things of an independent scholar like myself. Margaret Barker, she's a real scholar, right? Classically trained. And that has been her job in academia, I think, teaching at Oxford University. So someone like me, I consider myself an independent. I do these things on my own, more like a hobby. I don't get paid to do these things. I'm not trying to advance the academic research, but these are ideas that are quite interesting, not only to me, but also to 1.2 billion Christians around the world. And that's just currently. That's not counting the Christians who have come, prior, which way past, a billion people. So these are ideas that have impacted and, found resonance with many, many people, right? So I think it's worth presenting, right? And that is what I will try to present in these series of videos, because it is that deep and that profound that it's going to take quite some time to even unpack the most basic ideas. So in this first video, I am just introducing the new series of videos that I will be looking into. That are of relevance. So if you are a Christian, if you have what it's called the Christ impulse, then these ideas hopefully will be of interest, where you can find a little bit more information as to like what these mysteries contain, right? So it is for that audience, for those who have an interest but are quite confused, because everything out in the world is just confusing. Like, people are just making stuff up, using, abusing, and distorting things that do have value, right? Which happens all the time. And this causes a general population to just completely dismiss these kinds of ideas, because a few bad apples have taken it and really use it to manipulate, right? So a good example there is fire, right? Fire is neither good or evil. It's just fire. Now, you can use fire to burn your neighbor's house because they play, loud music every weekend, right? That's not a good use of fire, right? Or you can use it to, roast marshmallows and sing beautiful songs on your guitar on a breezy fall summer afternoon. So that's a very good use of fire, right? You're using it to form a small community, right? So fire in itself is not good or evil, right? It's just the way that we use it, right? So it's the same thing with the fire of God, right? Jesus said, I came to bring down the fire. Now, it's not good or bad. It's just the way that we use it. Now, the way that Jesus used the fire back when he was, roaming the world, he used it in a very angelic manner to heal people, to educate people, and to fight injustice, right? So we can all at least conclude that that is a good use of the fire of the word, right? The word that is on fire. However, hundreds of years later, after Christ's crucifixion, there arose a few people who have used that fire of his teachings to manipulate and control people and nations, right? Because it is that strong, it is that powerful, and that is what causes the modern day culture to look at religious ideas as something that has been divisive and oppressive, right? And it causes a general audience to really have an aversion to even anything that remotely sounds spiritual or religious, right? So hopefully with these set of short podcasts centering around the book of Revelations, will illuminate some of these insights and reveal some of the light that these mysterious writings bring forth, right? And I will try to bring them into a format that will be practical and applicable to us in the everyday world, that we can use to illuminate ourselves, open our hearts, open our imagination, and nourish the fire of the Christ impulse, which, like I mentioned, there's 1.2 billion, right? Now, I'm not saying that, these podcasts are going to reach all 1.2, but if it reaches a handful, that they can become slightly illuminated by, then I think it is a project worth moving forward with. So I'm looking forward to this series of lunar podcasts centered around the book of Revelations.